potentially first pick Gragas.
Well, let's find out, Deficio. So, Jax will be the first ban from Reason Gaming, followed by the Z, again, aimed at Takefun from Giants. Nothing has changed so far. Will they change something now?
No reason for Giants to really change anything. They can ban the Jen, I think Kalista is the last one.
And the Sivir again. Okay, good
first
change.
pick. Hecarim first pick coming in then for Reason Gaming with this one. I've never seen Giants play Urgot, so that should not be #1 priority for Reason, simply because they don't know if Giants even plays it. So you gotta secure that Hecarim as your last pick, or as your first pick, sorry, for Reason Gaming with these changes here.
Unless Giants decide to ban it, it will be Kalista. Okay, so yeah, Hecarim is open. It would be a good first pick for them, and he insta-lock it. So yeah, pretty cut and dry.
I think it's a good adaptation for them. PePiiNeRo will most likely fall back on the likes of an Ahri if he sticks to the AP assassin style. Of course, the Gragas is there for Frederick, but as we said, you cannot get everything. You gotta put up your list here and say, okay, which one is the #1 pick for us? In this case, it's gonna be the Hecarim. Kubon looked good on it in the playoffs of the Challenger Series, and it's also, of course, a takeaway from Werlyb.
Yeah, he was one of the only successful Hecarims we really had in Challenger. We had a lot of failed Hecarims.
Here's a little bit of a problem, though. Shyvana does really well into Hecarim, and that was played by Werlyb in the game before. If you run Ignite on Hecarim, you can force fights in the early stages, but as soon as Skirmisher Saber is completed, Shyvana just takes over that lane in terms of like the one-on-one, and you can really push him down. But Hecarim does have that fantastic team fight engage with Home Guard and TP, which is something Reason has to use. They cannot just sit back and play passive. You gotta use your global advantage there, or your Hecarim, to force team fights.
Yeah, we'll see if the rest of the composition goes along the same train of thought. But Giants Gaming have locked in again. The Lucian did very, very well last game. And then we'll also have the Gragas again, which was the first pick from Giants last game. So not too much has changed from them. In fact, nothing has really changed from them so far. I mean, why change it? Oh.
Reason can go with the same sort of bottom lane with Nautilus, Urgot, and then force plays around it. If they want it this time around, they can still... I mean, Rek'Sai was the pick before. Ahri, mid lane, that's a change-up. Also, take away from PePiiNeRo, saying we ban LeBlanc, we take Ahri. This is your two main picks gone now. You might push him on the likes of a Diana if you still want us to play that one for Giants. But I like the adaptation for Reason Gaming in their pick and ban phase. And I honestly wouldn't mind seeing Urgot Nautilus coming in. You have so much CC, you still have a very, very tanky setup, and you have a lot of damage in the mid game, which you can use to really, really take over the game. And even your late game is fine with that setup.
Yeah, I mean, Reason Gaming, they already have mid-game locked down for them with Rek'Sai, Ahri now coming into the mix with the Hecarim. And in response, Giants will just carry on going with the tank line. So they lock in the Sion, they lock in the Morgana, and they do have, well, their front line, but actually moving away here from the Maokai.
Very much a change for Giants. This is a lot more peel-focused and like disengage. So they're looking at all the engage potentially coming from Reason Gaming and saying, okay, we know you're going to dive at us. We're going to have enough tools to keep our AD carry and our mid laner alive when the engage happens, and then we just kite backwards and we take the long fights. Sion is one of those champions top laners like to take over Maokai when it comes to peeling for your AD carries, because you have that massive zone you create with your Q. People can walk into you. You have to slow from your E as well. People use that simply just to peel for your carries. Reason Gaming, though,
yeah, they do pick up the Tristana. They pick up the Nautilus as well, so same as last game, but we've seen Celaver on Tristana a lot during the Challenger Series, and we'll be going for that late game security. He's done very well on that champion, but we've also seen Celaver always being the one who will go for that split push. He'll be that one in the 4-1. Which is a little different from teams. Usually send the dude with the teleport.
It's often just to get a lot of farm for him, at least, on Tristana. Because, funny enough, he tends to fall pretty far behind in the early game on this champ. Tristana does not have a strong laning phase. So Reason Gaming will most likely look to swap it. Look at this. Change up for Giants. We have seen this. Especially in NA. They play a lot of Corki mid lane over there, where you can go for Trinity Force into Loot and Zeko, and your poke in the mid game is absolutely insane from it. And Reason Gaming, their main engage is going to come from Hecarim, TP, and then Nautilus with his ulti point and flick. But that's where Morgana Black Shield is going to block that from happening. Gragas Sign is going to create a massive front line. And Giants Gaming then really looking to set up a composition where you have a lot of poke, and then you avoid that main engage from happening. And because you have double AD carry, you have so good sustained damage in fights. And Reason Gaming is so much more about burst down one target with your mid and top laner. It's going to be tough for Celaver to hit anyone else but a big tank.
it'll be tough to pick anyone in the first place with the black shield, the front line, everyone just running away from you. So it'll be interesting to see if they manage to use that composition well. But it's tried and true, like you were saying before. They've been on these picks before, the Hecarim, the Tristana, it's worked out for them.
They have. I mean, it's gone back to that style of we go late game, and then we should technically have a better composition, so we will win these late game fights, despite maybe not being the better team, which is something they've done really well. And Celaver has been very, very good at his positioning. It was one of the things he did well at Rocket as well. If he got to late game, he was a good carry. He just had so many problems early on that we very rarely got to see him get to that point.
Well, as we get into Game 2, here are the compositions once again, but also, once again, hop on Twitter. Use the hashtags RGWin or GIA win, I should say, to get in your votes, and we'll be checking in throughout the game on what your thoughts are at home. But I don't feel like it will have changed too much from the Game 1 Deficio. Either way, we are getting into Game 2 of this best of 5 between Reason Gaming and Giants. Giants defending their spot so far with that first win in this series.
Yeah, now a very, very different playstyle from Giants. It's no longer dive in with an assassin mid lane, create picks left and right. No, it's poke. It's patient play, and it's being able to synergize well in fights and protecting your back line. If one guy missteps from Giants and suddenly your AD carry is dead, you will lose because Recent Gaming has then managed to pick you off in the start and can then start chasing, get the reset on Tristana, and just keep jumping on you. So we're going to have to see also if they can use the power spikes of a Corki in the mid lane from PePiiNeRo here to start grouping up and sieging on these towers. Not always a thing that Giants has been so good at. It's been often very chaotic and try and like just get some picks, and that's how you win.
Yeah, something interesting happening in mid lane, but even more interesting is PePiiNeRo is on Corki this time. So it's a new one for him, and very interesting to see how this will work out. You were talking about the interesting builds that you could potentially go, like the Liandry's with the Trinity Force.
Luden's Echo with Trinity Force with Luden's Echo, and then you can decide to build like Horning Guys as well, and just really max out on your magic penetration from him.
That's the one.
That is where at least the poke build we've seen from Corki mid laners over in North America quite a lot. There are different routes people decide to go with it, and we can see here from Kubon. It's the starting Flask, no potion, so he's going to do Raptor, then go back to base, have a bit of extra gold. Either he's going to pick up a second item or just going to get a few extra wards and potions, and then return to the top lane, where Sion can, as always, be quite annoying in the laning phase. It's not really going to kill you, but he has very, very good tools to simply just poke you down.
Yeah, so Kubon will be starting up on the, not the raid camp, it is the Raptors now. It's been a long time since I've said that one, but he'll be going for that. He'll be able to go back to base. Currently has 293 gold, which is not enough for boots, so he'll have to go for consumables.
We got 300 now with this one, so you're still right.
325.
325 is what he needs, but Werlyb decided not to do a camp, even though that's what we normally see on Sion, so he's not getting that instant level 2. He went straight to lane instead. And as Kubon decides to go back and just get potions and a ward, try to look to maybe try and push in this wave here, and then have that ward early on. He's already placed it in the tri-bush, so clearly expecting early action from Frederick. He's of course running with no flash on this Hecarim, so he's just trying to play it extra safe in the early game, but there's no Kikis Udyr ganking you at level 2 in this one.
No, there is not. Frederick doesn't seem like he's very interested in going top lane. He just start on the top side of the map, so he'll be going over to his blue, maybe even going for a full clear with the Merc Wolves. Xayoo, meanwhile, was taking the initial crab of the game. He'll be knocking up, didn't even see what hit.
This is really Recent Gaming securing that Hecarim top lane. You got early ward, you got Rift Scotland top side as well. So despite it's the bottom lane pushing for Reason, it's all about making sure Kubon can farm. He will become a big carry. I personally think when he gets to play champions like Hecarim, like Irelia, that he has shown multiple times in the past that he can be a guy to decide the game for Reason Gaming. In a positive way, of course.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people on Reason Gaming can be that big influence that they want. Takefun can do it, Celaver can do it. True. It's just whether they turn up in that game.
Yeah, it's not consistently enough. Right. It's like one game, Takefun takes over, goes 5-0 on Ahri, and we're like, whoa, what a fantastic performance, play around him. Next game, it just simply doesn't work. He loses his laning phase, or he makes a few bad decisions, and they lose the game from it. So Reason Gaming is a team where there's no real carry on it, but there in every single lane is a guy who can step up on a good day to be the man to win the game for you. It's simply just not consistently enough, and that's why they struggled when it came to even getting top 4 because they ended outside of top 4, remember. I think this EU won that spot. They couldn't field the roster and gave the spot to Reason Gaming, who's still been performing well in playoffs.
Well, lands the hook onto Rydle, but yeah, Reason Gaming, a team consistently in 3rd and 4th, not this time around, was 5th, but in-game always inconsistent. But that also could benefit them because they want to be inconsistent in not losing the series, as Giants are leading this 1-0. Right. Slightly ahead, but Xayoo places down that ward. We do see Mr. Frederick going into top lane though. We also see both the junglers looking for something to happen.
Yeah, they're switching it up. It was Frederick ganking that mid lane over and over in game 1, but because Hecarim has no flash, he's looking towards that one. Xayoo just gonna force away some mana from PePiiNeRo. This W still costs 100, so it's pretty expensive early on for Corki.
Yeah, Corki has a tiny mana pool. He actually only has 400 at this stage. It's not a lot, so that is a large chunk of his mana pool. He won't be using those on fast bombs. Meanwhile, on the top lane, Kubon is not getting the better of the trade against Werlyb. Tried to auto-attack trade when it was a very large minion wave there, and it turns out they do a lot of damage.
Yeah, he might get killed on the tower now. Frederick showing up instantly.
Yeah,
Werlyb can tank this one.
There's the follow-up, there's the body slam. Just needs one more tower shot, but that's going to land, and Werlyb just over-tanks the tower. Well, at least he'll be able to get some farm and glory and death.
There's no reason to give that kill over to Kubon at all. Just flash away. Once you got hit by the second last one for Werlyb. Bit of an
error.
A mistake, yes, for him. They got the kill. We saw them push it down. We've seen Frederick stay around the top side. Just ended up, honestly, being 1-for-1. Kubon did lose a big wave, so it's still heavily in favor of Giants.
But still, it could have been better. It could have been better executed. Either way, there's a hook into the bot lane. Lands on Rydle before the shield comes down. Follow up with the explosive charge from Celaver. And Xayoo gets in there, hits the Prey Seeker on the minions. I am helping. I'm taxing your lane. And now he's leaving. Celaver, 46 farm to 47 in the bot lane. Very even. Same in the mid lane. The top lane, spoke about that differential that's now opening up. 10 advantage to Werlyb.
Look at top again here. The ward is going to be placed on the pink from Kubon, so Giants sees him, and he's staying here. He still has no way of flashing away. He can run away, though, and there's no mid laner. PePiiNeRo had already come back to base, so Kubon will stay alive from this one, but his ward did get cleared already. Reason Gaming using the information of the enemy jungler being topside, though, to start an early dragon, and this time they're decisive. They're not just going to back away. They know they can secure an early objective.
Well, there's nothing scary there to spook them and have them run away. Last game, it was only 3 people against 4, so they still should have gone for it. But this time, as you mentioned, good information top lane, and they utilized that in the first dragon. But they have gone for a slightly different composition this time around. They're not just looking to scale all the way into the late game and have that as their only way to win the game. Celaver is that late game, but it's more about the mid game now. Takefun, Xayoo, and Kubon of those champions. Meanwhile, at home, 77% over to Giants. That has increased by over 10% from the first game. But still, Reason Gaming have a pretty good chance in this series to come back.
I mean, it's only game 1, so nothing has been decided yet. Now it's game 2, sorry, but it's only been 1 game already. Obviously, nothing is decided. We saw very different pick and ban phase for Reason Gaming, taking away the other block. Definitely agree on that one every single time. Adryh trade missing his laser at the very end on Celaver. Libik now trying to at least get some control of this lane. It's very tough playing Nautilus and Morgana with that black shield, but honestly for Giants, not really looking to win in terms of the laning phase. They're looking for that spike on a Corki in the mid lane. They're looking to keep putting pressure on a no-flash Hecarim once again. Wave is coming in. This time Reason Gaming is reading it. See how the Rek'Sai is already here, waiting for that dive to happen. Look for Werlyb to start his ulti. Set up the whole thing.
Well, will Xayoo go all the way around? He's waiting for it. Kubon's dropping low. He does have ultimate. Xayoo comes through, gets knocked up onto Frederick, follows up with the ultimate as well onto the backside of Werlyb. Doesn't really land though. That's a ferocious bite from Xayoo to send them away, but Kubon is very low. He'll have to go back to base. He should be getting the home guards fairly soon, but still he has teleport if he really needs it, and he'll be using the teleport this time around.
Yeah,
he does have the home guards.
Well, he don't want to miss any more minions. Look at his CS count here, 41 now to 71, so he can't really afford to fall further behind, and Giants has done a very good job trying to shut him down. Next dragon spawning, the Sion will be a lot stronger than the Hecarim, and that's one thing they have to use to make sure you don't give any more dragons over to Recent Gaming on their side. Werlyb once again, he's happy taking these trades. One of the changes to Sion was some nerfs to his E, which made the Q suddenly the best thing to max, and if you do stand in it, you take a lot of damage. You can see it's already rank 4 for Werlyb.
Also a very long stun, means you can get those extra auto attacks in. Frederick finds a Rek'Sai in his jungle. Libik here, just farming up the bot lane with his AD carry. First couple items have been picked up as well. PePiiNeRo going for that Triforce, going for the Sheen first for the extra burst. Mid lane, got the Aether Wisp, will be going into the Luden's Echo as the first item. Gives him a lot of upfront damage, will help him out in those early fights if they want to go for them. Werlyb, here we go, lands onto Kubon, will follow up with the Decimating Smash and the knockback from Frederick as well, followed by the Cask. And just like that, down goes the horse. Yeah,
just camping him so hard. They know the Sion can tank up the tower. And that was an ulti from your own tower from Giants and Werlyb. 10 minutes in, look at his CS lead. That's the largest he's had. If you look at the entire LCS split, he's never been this far ahead of 10 minutes. 10 seconds, that would have been impressive.
Yeah.
And they're gonna get top tower from it. There's no TP from Kubon. He's really getting shut down on this Hecarim. And it's Frederick deciding which lane do I want to camp now. Game 1 was PePiiNeRo, he got fed. Game 2, I'm going to camp top lane now. Suddenly Werlyb, 2 assists, 2 kills for Frederick, and a massive CS lead.
Well, it's another game at 10 minutes where Recent Gaming are behind Giants. But, they always play from behind, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Their victories are always longer than their losses, around 37 minutes for Recent Gaming.
And they very often depend on the enemy team making some risky plays where Recent Gaming can punish them. We gotta give Recent the credit for playing it super cool and look for these openings in the late game. Now Giant
openings right now with the hook coming through. There is the chain follow-up and the damage from Libik. The Depth Charge did actually come in and detonate Adryh. Would have liked it maybe to go to someone else, but Libik will be laughing all the way to the back.
Good little roam down from Recent. Masiah had already put the jungler in the mid lane to clear the wave out, so PePiiNeRo couldn't get any damage on the tower. And then we have this Nautilus. I mean, it's a point and click at first. Yeah, okay, the Black Shield can block it now, but with Ahri coming in first, not a whole lot Giant could do to stay alive, and good little setup for Recent.
Ultimate coming through from Rydle with the Soul Shackles, flashes forward as well to make sure it will connect, and the follow-up with perfect point-blank binding, and Frederick is there to deal the damage. Xayoo and Libik were just a little too late to defend Celaver, so a nice pick in return from Giants.
Celaver decided not to flash. Once you jump, you just flash instantly after to get out of range of the Morgana. Rydle with the setup though, followed with his own flash to try and connect a second stun from the ulti, but a bit like in game 1 as well, we have kills in every lane going back and forth. Nobody's really respecting what the other team can do, so you stay a little bit longer. And then you get caught out here. Celaver could have escaped though. Just instant jump flash and you're out of range of that Morgana.
Yeah, could have done, should have done, didn't. PePiiNeRo in the mid lane, still building towards that Triforce. And meanwhile, there is a Frederick looking for another gank. Interesting enough, a lot of his presence has been in the other rather than mid lane, which is a big difference from what we've typically seen. But Frederick has just identified where he can get those kills. Yeah,
there's not really a whole lot of kill pressure for Corki in the mid lane. You have no CC to set up, and you really just want to farm up your Trinity Force and then towards the Luden's Echo before you do a whole lot. So I do think he's definitely taking the right choice in looking for this. I mean, it's basically 3 kills top, honestly. Yeah. Against the Hecarim, the way they've been pushing it down and playing around it. Next step for Giants is if they do get another kill top lane, ward up that enemy blue buff, deny that one away from the Ahri so she doesn't have the mana to sit and just wave clear, and then you use the Trinity Force on PePiiNeRo and you just start pushing down mid lane. 4 man together. Ahri won't have the mana to keep defending it because she just took away the blue buff. And that can be one of the plays for Giants. If they get another kill top, depending on where Frederick want to put his focus, it's around bottom lane again. Takefun.
I'll take one. Just get the Orb of Deception down with the Spirit Rush. Still had Flash as well, but didn't manage to connect the Charm. That would have meant
Sion,
dead Corki there. He is waiting in the wings. He's actually waiting behind here. He does have the ultimate, and here it comes. He's going to try and get around that wall. He goes all the way past the turret, and now the teleport in from Kubon. Lands the Charm as well. He has to take a different exit route. Takefun doesn't have his ultimate, so he can't quite get in range. Follows the wave with PePiiNeRo and finds him right after the Valkyrie. Takes him out. He even had Flash, and he didn't use it. What is it with Giants just not using? In fact, what is it with Celaver and PePiiNeRo not using their flashes?
I don't know. Everyone is saving these defensive summoners for
a rainy day.
I don't know what it is, but Another kill now. Recent Gaming. That was a dive started by Werlyb in the mid lane. Very, very aggressive. TP came in. Rek'Sai ulti. Instantly 3v2. Kills for Recent Gaming. Second dragon for them. Or can it be stopped? TP and Frederick are here.
Oh, maybe. I mean, Kubon doesn't have his own teleport. Does not get taken out. Xayoo will take it down. He won't bake it down. Adryh going into the bot side of the fight. Xayoo will be using his defensive summoner in a situation where he maybe didn't even need to. Frederick and Rydle will be taking away these wards down here, and Celaver and Libik can't contest it, as Libik is quite low right now. 3-3, and 2 dragons over to Recent Gaming this time around.
Big goal lead though for Giants. Once again, they're winning every single lane. Recent Gaming simply cannot match them in terms of the laning phase. This is going to be a bottom lane tower. Top lane went down to the minions before for Giants. So suddenly this map is open. You got your Trinity Force on the Corki. Mid lane. I mean, it's going to be such an easy decision for Giants now. Okay, what's going to be our next objective? There's no dragon. There's only one outer turret in the mid lane where we already have a Corki sitting. That's going to be the next one. Takefun did get the blue buff because Giants decided not to try and focus on getting that one down. They went for the dives instead. Definitely not a call I agree with. I think it's way too risky what they were doing before. And I'd much rather just see you play around where you're already that much stronger, which would have been the top side. But now we have to see if they want to use PePiiNeRo. Is already landing quite some rockets on Takefun.
Quite some indeed. And in that mid lane, that is pretty clear for them to go for that. Meanwhile, Adryh has picked up his Infinity Edge. They're pretty much all hitting their item spikes over Recent Gaming. Got the Frozen Heart in the top lane, in the jungle, already got that Cinderhulk mid lane, Triforce bot lane, Infinity Edge. And you look at the other side of Recent Gaming and they have a Luden's Echo, and that's basically it. Just the components of the rest of their items.
No TP for the Hecarim, so there's no real way except for Nautilus ulti to start the fight. But as long as Morgana is there, that's gonna stop from ever happening. So Giants has every opening now to decide to group in that mid lane. Just push out this bottom side, then go up through the river to the mid lane and put pressure on that tower. It's the last outer turret. There's so many guys who can flank around Takefun that he should never feel safe just sitting in his own lane.
Frederick now in his jungle. Meanwhile, the bot lane still clearing out those wards. Every single lane is still behind from Recent Gaming, however. But they do have the Celaver for the late game. They still have a pretty decent mid game with Takefun, Xayoo, and Kubon. Just a matter of whether they can get a pick with the charm or get the initiate with Kubon or get the follow-up as well. There's a jump forwards from Celaver looking for the CC chain from Libik. There's the black shield onto Adryh, so that's not going to happen anytime soon. So difficult for them to get anything done, get any CC on Adryh.
Yeah, they need Takefun there to break the black shield so they can pop the ulti from Libik. And you see Frederick sitting on a ward, so at least he's putting focus on that mid side. It really looks like Giants want to create a pick first on the bottom lane. If you look at Sion moving down now, Werlyb does have his ulti ready before they decide to do anything. They've been happy keeping the lanes. Werlyb is getting closer and closer. Let's get ready to rumble.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nah, no rumble.
He's like, you know what? Don't really fancy it today.
Well, maybe a different day.
Maybe they do.
Maybe that rainy day they've been saving the flashes for. And Celaver still has it. Libik, where's the hook? Oh, he showed himself.
Waiting for Werlyb.
Still there though. He does have his ultimate, doesn't have flash. Who else is there to counter? It is Xayoo. So this could get.
Oh, he's doing it now.
Libik does land a hook onto the minions. There's a teleport come down into the top lane as well. Werlyb comes into the fray, picks up the kill onto Rydle though, and the follow through by Kubon goes onto Adryh. He's bleeding out from the ignite. He goes down before he can even complete the culling, and now Werlyb just needs to get away. Comes out with the shield, the soul furnace, and we'll get the harassment down in return. He's still going to take a little more damage, but he has no follow-up. There is no Frederick to help him. He's a fair ways out. That was a 1-for-2 trade over to Recent Gaming.
It was, yeah. Instant TP coming down from Kubon. It's not over yet, though, in his bottom lane.
No, he's dropping low, looking for the decimating smash. There is the flash, and will be knocked away by Frederick. He's not the target they're looking for. Kubon and Xayoo have the damage to eat through the Sion, though. Turns around, the decimating smash again lands onto both players for the long stun. And Xayoo drops low. There's the Roar of the Slayer, and he's not going anywhere. Turns around, tries to get a Furious Bite, doesn't get it. PePiiNeRo now comes in from the mid lane. This has been such an extended fight, and that means Takefun will come out as well. PePiiNeRo finds 2 for 1. Buy one, get one free.
This bottom lane fight, man, it's Giants. Well, it's both teams honestly starting it at the same time. Reason wanted to go in with the jungle and like set up one pick, and Giants were there with Werlyb charging his ulti on the Sion. But that was Giants with a big item advantage, or at least an item advantage at this point. Still going even at first. until PePiiNeRo came down, got 2 kills for himself. And mid lane tower still standing, didn't even take a single hit. We might get to see the next fight around Dragon, and not any objectives. Let's see the whole thing. Okay, we cut the first part.
Most of the thing.
Some people died. Werlyb is trying to chase up here. They do get some damage onto Celaver, and it looks bad now for Werlyb. And if you look at the mid lane, look at the pings from both of them. It's Ahri and Corki trying to fight each other. Who can get down to the bottom lane first? PePiiNeRo moved. Will be there, get at least 1 kill for himself. And then he sacrificed himself for the second one onto Celaver. And then goes down after. Oh, so close to Celaver to jump away. Then you get a balloon in your face.
Caught him in the jump. Wonder what's in that balloon, Deficio. Anyway, Frederick and PePiiNeRo heading through this bottom river. We'll be clearing out that ward, trying to get that vision over the dragon. And it will be coming up in 20 seconds. PePiiNeRo, how's he doing in the mid lane? Has gone back to base with that extra double kill goal. Picked up a reasonably large rod as well, so he's going towards that Ludens you were talking about earlier.
Really gonna make his poke so strong, but he needs to land it before a fight breaks out, because Reason still has a lot of burst potential. It's Werlyb though.
Here he goes, lands onto 2, follows it with the decimating smash and the charge onto Xayoo. He will be going down. Kubon follows through with a good ultimate onto the back line. Adryh drops low. He gets buster shot away and blown up by Celaver. Takefun also drops low, but Kubon is ripping apart the back line. This is a fantastic fight for Reason Gaming. Hooks him in. He's not going anywhere. Watch out for the passive though, because Sana's back and he's angry. Looking for the auto attacks onto Takefun. One more and it doesn't quite land it. Meanwhile, Celaver has been caught out by PePiiNeRo. Gets knocked back by the dragon spawn and turns around with the damage. He takes the damage from dragon as well. Not quite enough with the explosion from explosive charge. And PePiiNeRo, you can't take on the dragon right now. 4 for 1 over to Reason Gaming.
Giants didn't land any poke before they started this one, and they ran straight into the jungle of Reason Gaming. Got caught in a bit of a choke point where Kubon just came with his ulti across everyone. And suddenly, the fight was so hard for Giants to win because they had no idea where the different carries were coming from. Once we get the replay, Celaver on Tristana was the guy flanking, but nobody could touch him because they didn't expect him to be there. It already chased into the jungle of Reason Gaming. And as we said, 0 poke have been landed first. Use your Corki. Sit back, far away, use the calling from your Lucian as well to land that poke first, then you can start a fight after.
Well, despite all of that, Giants did manage to go for the dragon, and neither junglers pick it up. We'll actually go over to PePiiNeRo with the follow-up with the ultimates across the wall. It's 4-2-0 right now. That's a number. Giants going into the mid lane now, so despite all that, yeah, it didn't work out for them. Either way, we're going to see that fight once again.
Let's see it. So it's full HP on Reason Gaming side. Look at your minimap here, how Celaver is walking down from the bottom of your screen. Everything is in this little point here from Giants. The ulti from Kubon goes across here, a lot of damage. Nobody's touching Celaver at this point because they don't expect him to show up from the side. He gets to jump away, and now there's simply not enough damage left for Giants side. The large rod from a Corki doesn't really do a whole lot for his auto attacks. He needs to land the rockets and the Q to do anything.
Yeah. However, the top lane pony did stay around for a little longer. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, though, it's all action all day. PePiiNeRo gets taken down, follow up onto Rydle as well, takes him out with the Spirit Rush. Meanwhile, Werlyb from the top lane locks him down, get the shutdown. That's the double kill, but also the shutdown onto Takefun. Libik is not landing the hooks today on the stationary objects, but that will mean he'll have to flash away over the wall, loses that summon. That Adryh with the culling comes in with the onslaught of the shadows, jumps over the wall of the rampage, and Libik comes back into the fight, anchor to the face, takes him out, and Frederick will be trying to escape from this one. Werlyb may be having enough damage to take out Xayoo. Flash forward, axe to the back of the Rek'Sai's head, takes him out. 3 for 2. This is so messy, Deficio.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on at the moment. Giants were grouping on the mid lane, that was fine. But then they got caught in a fight while Celaver was pushing on the bottom lane, and Giants still managed to lose so many members. Can they get a second tower in the mid lane and try and even out that one? Celaver, I believe he got 2 on the bottom side for himself. They only get the mid one for Reason, or for Giants. They got Luden's Echo on PePiiNeRo, but we're gonna have to get another replay of another fight. These two teams here are not just gonna sit back. They keep getting caught out.
Yeah, and again it was Celaver doing the split pushing. It's always Celaver, it's never Kubon, it's never Takefun. It's always Celaver as the AD carry. Takefun, speaking about him, just get locked down by the decimating smash right on the corner, and also the binding as well. Werlyb will be following up the damage, but now we're just going to have fight central again. Kubon now teleports into the fight, looking for that devastating charge. Doesn't quite get out to anyone just yet. Werlyb's dropping low, he comes in with the shield. PePiiNeRo, though, is trying to get the harass down, doesn't land those rockets, and after all that, no one dies. Giants, Werlyb and Frederick are on next to no HP, and they go back to base.
And nobody here wants to sit back and play boring. Reason Gaming definitely showing they're more decisive in this game.
A killer minute.
They're taking the fights Giants are offering to them, because it's been Giants starting it. They were the ones engaging around the dragon. They were the ones grouping on that mid tower, and then Reason is the one catching on. Let's see what happens. The minions dies, and then it's just a hook onto the PePiiNeRo. The black ship from Rydle went onto himself. So Corki dies instantly, and look at Celaver here, pushing one tower, pushing up for the next one. While all this happens, simply just a bad black shield means your Corki dies.
Yeah, and Adryh just goes.
And then Adryh's like, alright, I'm gonna try and poke some more. Whoop, I just got caught out.
Yeah, and that's just all the tanks going at it. Takes a little while to end, but there we go.
Still, Giants are in the position where you group with this Corki and you just sit back and poke. You don't all in, and you slowly take away towers. You don't even need kills at this point because it's about the towers and about the global gold you're going to get. So just poke them back with your missiles. Take the tower when they've gone back to base, and you're okay. Don't have to risk an all-in fight where a 5-1 Ahri with Loot and Zeko and Deathcap can one-shot any of your carries.
And the Luden's Echo has been picked up by Takefun as well, also with the Death Cap, so he is he's hurting quite a lot if he gets into those fights. Kubon's got the core item build down with his Home Guards, the Triforce as well, also going towards his Magic Resist item, which looks to be, well, could be either Banshees or the Spirit Visage, but what's for certain is he probably is going for the Frozen Heart. Fantastic on Hecarim, gives him the cooldown, and get that Q to like a 0.6 second cooldown if you get the charges as well. It gets kind of insane. Helicopter him comes into action.
And then him not running Smite, as we see in so many other regions, simply because you wanted to be more active in early to mid game. Smite will be better later on, but then you need to build up these items first. You need to have a lot more focus on playing these jungle camps for Kubon and for both teams. It's been more about, can we get a fight here? All right, let's take a fight. We gotta go for this one. And Ignat has given him 2 kills already from diving in. So with Ignat and quick Trinity Force, he has a lot of one-shot potential.
Yeah, he has those squishy targets to go through. The PePiiNeRo, the Adryh didn't have that last game, but yeah, if you have the targets to blow up, why not? In the top lane, Werlyb is still pushing up against Kubon, who is clearing out the way fairly handily, even without the support of his team. Looking for a charm onto Rydle, does not find its mark. Celaver as well, sidesteps the binding, very close to being hit up. Adryh as well with the follow-through, with the double tap. He's 1-4-3 right now, but is farming fairly well, so he's not all that behind in this game. Giants continuing the pressure in the top lane here. PePiiNeRo continuing with the rocket harass, keeping people away. What's that? I see a Celaver split pushing.
Oh, he might get a mid tower because there's not enough minions here for Giants, and they're not controlling the rest of the waves. So Celaver just sees an opening to get a free tower. Bottom lane is pushing for them, yeah, but it takes a while before that hits the next turret here, so enough time for Reason to react to that one. They will even go for a second tower in the middle. Tristana is so fast at taking out towers. Giants have to do something, and they're engaging.
Well, they try for the engage. Kubon will be ulting away from the fight, and only Takefun will be the casualty. They'll take the top turret, but if they can hold them at the inhib turret, Celaver's just going to continue to take their base, and someone has to deal with it. No one's recalling just yet.
Stop the recall. Stop the recall.
He's recalling in the lane, and it will be Xayoo taking the recall away from him. They continue with the follow-up. We'll be getting the Prey Seeker down. Now the recall's coming out from Adryh. Stop the recall. He gets it. Werlyb as well has to stop. Everyone's trying to stop it from happening. Now they move on to the Baron. But still, they're losing their mid-turret, Deficio.
They are. Like, this is a Tristana on her own. Just took 4
and he
in the mid-time. He got the inhibitor down. He's going back to try and stop this one.
Kubon has been caught out. We will be jumping into the fight. Doesn't have his ultimate. Finally gets slain by Adryh in the back of the fight. Depth charge lands onto that big tanky Gragas. The hook does not come through. The dredge line doesn't find its mark.
Xayoo?
Celaver comes in with the auto attacks over the wall. Doesn't quite get it. Again, Another objective goes over to PePiiNeRo, of all people. Celaver does get slowed down by Werlyb. It's damage control now for Recent Gaming. Oh, the binding from Rydle. That's a dead Celaver, but still, he did his job. He took the inhib, and even though they lost 3 members, that was pretty damn good from the AD carry.
Yeah, that was a lot of global gold being picked up for Recent Gaming, and Giants, after they got stopped again and again from Recon, said, okay, whatever, we go Baron then. We force you down to fight us here. The whole thing, so this is at the Baron, it's already dropped fairly low. Kubon gets caught out at first. Celaver's on his way after getting that inhibitor. And Recent Gaming just trying, they don't really want to commit, they just want to try and poke Giants off and get them to take more and more damage from the Baron itself. Let's see the smite when it comes in. 600, there's the smite, I think it's from Frederick. I don't think the smite was used from Recent Gaming.
Yeah, very, very close. It's
might have been lying to you, and it was just very, very close.
Frederick is just not landed the smites at the right time. But again, fantastic binding from Rydle. And Pop dies at the end. Cut the clip! He didn't die, he was good.
One guys completed for PePiiNeRo. He's going for the standard Corki style. We've not really seen him use it too much, because every time Giants has positioned himself ready to siege, one of the other lanes has been pushing up to them, and recently has gone and like taken a tower for it, or Giants is just instantly engaged. They're not allowing PePiiNeRo to play his champion properly by always taking fights or not controlling the map, which has been a problem for them. They're still ahead from this like 5k gold. They have the Baron buff, but that mid lane is suddenly wide open.
Xayoo with the Prey Seekers get poked. Werlyb is tanking up the laser, even though he has minions. And we'll be getting a decimated flash down for area denial. Adryh is ripping apart this turret, looking for a potential engage here as a depth charge on to PePiiNeRo. Almost reverted to expansion tournament. There's the ultimate coming through onto Libik, and Celaver, big one, gets a lot of damage onto that backline. And Adryh just needs to get those auto attacks down. He's got the Bloodthirster, so he's constantly got that shield, and now the tank flank there as well.
Just constantly
taking down the turret. There it goes, Trinity Force proc from PePiiNeRo. And now taking this inhib as well. It's just not a fight that Recent Gaming want to take.
And now you go back and you reset the whole thing, because you got big waves coming. You can go take the bottom one here. That's like 4 or 5 waves in total. Top wave as well pushing in. So for Giants, reset the whole thing. Recent Gaming can try and go and take the tier 1 top. We can see how most of Giants' minions are going to the bottom side, and there's no other minions to work with. Look at Recent, trying to get something at least.
Yeah, Giants are extremely split right now. They have found Werlyb. He's by himself completely, but he's actually fairly tanky. Kubon following up with the devastating charge. The tower is still there, but it basically scratches the front line at this stage.
Still
have Libik coming in here. I'm not sure why he was trying to clear out the minion line, but the tower will be going down. They're trying to keep him in place, but he's just so tanky. They don't have the damage there just yet. Finally, Celaver alive, but Rydle was there, and PePiiNeRo is in hot pursuit. He's going to get into this fight very quickly, and everyone is converging on the top lane. So Recent Gaming back away. They took the outer turret.
Got at least the tower, so that's just quick decision making for Recent, saying how do we make the best out of a bad situation? Well, at least we get some global gold on that top side. It's a quick little move from them. They're still 5k behind. The Adryh is completed for PePiiNeRo, so everything for him has been just a spike that makes it poke even better and better. Elixir picked up. Go back to grouping for Giants. Your bottom lane is going to slowly push down, so there's nothing for Recent Gaming right now to take on the other side of the map. So they have to sit 5-man together now at the tier, or at the inhibitor, sorry, and try and defend it. But unless they can get a hard engage from their TP Hecarim, see, there's a ward all the way up here in the tri-bush. Oh, sorry, at the blue buff from Recent Gaming. They can't TP too. That's a way to start a fight. Otherwise, they won't be able to do anything. This one, and here's the TP.
The teleport. He does have the home guard. He'll be coming in from the back. He comes in with the E. Libik as well. Comes in with the depth charge. Goes onto the back lines. Only really gets onto Rydle. Immediately gets exhausted. He'll be going down before the fight even really starts. Cunning comes across onto Celaver. Zones him away. The Rek'Sai dies as well. Libik tries to get through the base gate, but also gets slain before he gets through it. Frederick now trying to get onto Takefun. The rocket goes wide. Doesn't quite land, but neither does the charm. Frederick just needs to zone him away. Top turret doesn't even go down. They could just end the game here and now. Deficio, and they go for the first Nexus turret. There goes the second, and they just don't have enough to stop them. And Celaver and Takefun just have to watch there as the Nexus turns into rubble. Giants take the second game in this best of 5. This is quickly becoming a clean sweep.
It is, and that last engage here from Kubon, he had to run down the lane instead, not just try and ult over the wall. We saw Giants manage to back away in time, avoid the home guard TP from the Hecarim. And then the fight just became so hard. We kept talking about how Recent Gaming had to like burst one target in the start. Very rarely did they get onto that one target, and that made it super hard in the later team fights. So once Giants finally decided to slow down, group up with your Corki, land that insane poke, and then slowly but surely you will get down these towers. You don't have to force a fight. Celaver, though, that man was on a mission when it came to killing enemy towers.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever there was an opening, he was in the side lane, or a mid lane even.
Or anywhere.
And just take 3 or 4 towers down by himself. So he tried to do his best to keep them relevant in the game once they fell behind. But we just saw that Giants grouped up, avoid the engage, you just poke away.
Yeah, well, we've seen Celaver do that so many times, just try and get those advantages by split pushing by himself. But it was good by Recent Gaming. They did make iteration from game 1 to game 2, and they did change their playstyle. They didn't just try to go for the double tanks. They tried to go for the mid game, the early pressure. They didn't pull away from the dragons in the early game. I mean, it was known to stop them, but still.
More decisive.
They were more decisive in the games, Deficio. So they did make those changes, but it still wasn't enough. And yes, it was a lot closer, but they were still behind at 10 minutes. They were still behind in the early game, and they just couldn't get an advantage big enough to overtake Giants.
And that's really it here, how Recent Gaming just seems to be a level under Giants when it comes to laning phase. Every lane winning. Corki into Ahri, won by PePiiNeRo. Bottom lane, the Lucian matchup into the Tristana. Obviously expected that Tristana will lose the lane, but that was still like 30 CS, I think, for Adryh in that lane. And of course, the top lane was just camped completely. Like, Kubon was shut down so hard. So it's really, really difficult for Recent Gaming, despite playing a composition that could create picks and make plays in the mid game. They just fell so far behind. They were always in an item disadvantage. And it just makes it so much harder for you to come back in the game. Yeah,
there was a point we were talking about items where they just had that 2,000 gold advantage, but it meant that everyone had completed their big items, and we still had components from Recent Gaming. So, well, they're not out of it just yet, but we are going to head over to the analyst for a look into